Good day everyone, this is your teacher Joanna Pauline Jason. Today, we're going to discuss about the types of phrases. But before we start, let's have a 5-minute preliminary test. By the way, it's on Google Form, so please answer it on the link that I provided. Okay, timer starts now. Okay, time's up. Put down your pencils or ballpen. Focus on the screen. We're checking your answers later. Okay, let's dig deeper into our topic, which is the phrase. Everyone, please lend me your ears. So let's get started. What is phrase? Remember that phrase is a group of connected words. You would remember that, unlike clauses, a phrase does not contain subject or predicate. Again, if you notice that a sentence does not have subject or predicate, that means it is a phrase. Remember that phrase can function in a sentence as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. So we're going to tackle the 7 types of phrases. These are noun, gerund, infinitives, appositive, participial, prepositional, and absolute. So let's begin with the noun phrase. Remember that if a phrase functions as a noun, it is a noun phrase. It's either a person, a place, or a thing, and if you add a modifier, we'll have the noun phrase. Remember also that noun phrase could be a subject, object, or prepositional object in a sentence. So let's have an example of a noun phrase. First, the brown spotted puppy is up for adoption. So in the sentence, the brown spotted puppy is used or functioned as a subject. It's easy to check if it's a noun phrase because you could change it with the pronoun it. So let's see. Okay, it is up for adoption. Correct, right? This noun phrase functions as a subject. Okay, let's go to another example. My neighbor down the street baked me a banana pie. If we can replace my neighbor down the street with the pronouns he or she, pronouns like Jonathan or Joanna, then we have a noun phrase. Have you noticed that we have 2 noun phrases in the sentence? Yes, you're right. A banana pie is a noun phrase that functions as an object of the verb baked. So next, some boy restored the worn out car. The worn out car is a noun phrase that functions as an object of the verb restored. So another example, some boy helped the sick woman. The sick woman functions as the object of the verb. Thus, it is a noun phrase. And lastly, an example of a prepositional object. Mickey adopted a kitten with heterochromia eyes. A kitten with heterochromia eyes is the object of the verb adopted, right? But you can notice that it has a preposition which is the with. Therefore, this noun phrase is a prepositional object example. So after noun phrase, let's go to the second phrase, which is verb phrase, or also known as verbals. Go class, keep on grinding. Keep it up. Alright. A verb phrase is a group of words that use as a verb. And simply it contains the verb's dependents. As you all remember, these are the direct or indirect objects. Verb phrases or verbals may include, first of course, the object, verb plus complement, and adverb. And please remember that. So let's have an example. He is running toward the bus. Running is the verb, right? And we've learned that verbals may include verb plus the complement of the sentence. And in here, toward the bus is the complement. And notice in the next example, we add an adverb. Just like this. From he's running toward the bus into he's running quickly toward the bus. Don't confuse. It is a verbal phrase. So take note, verbal phrase has 3 types. These are gerund, participial, and infinitive. I hope you all familiar with gerund. Gerund, right? Because it's easy to catch. The reason is the ing ending. And gerund is a verb form that functions as a noun. Gerunds can be subjects, objects, or subject complements. Do you know that we could check if any noun or other parts of speech function as a noun? And that is, we should able to replace it with a pronoun. So let's go to our example. First, the skateboarding is my favorite hobby. Let's replace the subject, the skateboarding, into it pronoun. It is my favorite hobby. Thus, the skateboarding is a gerund phrase, along with its determiner, which is the the article. Then we go to the infinitive phrase. We should know that infinitive is the most common form of the verb. And the sign that it's an infinitive is the word to. To. Remember that infinitives could function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. So let's have an example. To love unconditionally is a selfless thing. It's easy to catch infinitive phrase, right? So here, to love unconditionally functions as a noun and a type of verb phrase which is infinitive phrase. Don't be confused. So another example, you need to study for finals if you want to get good grades. To study for finals and what? To get good grades. Right. We have 2 infinitive phrases in this sentence. Okay, participial. Please keep going, brainy students. Focus. Participial phrase, it looks like a verb, but functions actually as an adjective. And it modifies a noun in the same sentence. Ready? So example, wagging her tail, my puppy greets me at the door. Wagging her tail describes my puppy. Next, sitting on the drawer, my glasses were pushed toward the back. In here, sitting on the drawer describes my glasses. So do you remember that participial looks like a verb, but it's actually used as an adjective? So be careful not to confuse with participial to gerund. So how to check? Keep in mind that gerund can be substituted by replacing the subject with the pronoun it, while participial is cannot be. The first sentence, wagging her tail, my puppy greets me at the door. The wagging her tail is the participial phrase. And the second sentence, wagging her tail is my puppy's way of showing affection. Wagging her tail is a gerund phrase because of wagging, and it can be replaced by it pronoun. Fighting brains, give it up. Let's go on to the positive phrase. So positive phrase It is a noun or noun phrase that gives another name to the noun right next to it, and usually follows the word it explains or identifies. So a lot of comma. As an example, my puppy, a Maltese and Havanese mix, is gentle and smart. The a Maltese and Havanese mix is the appositive phrase because it gives another name to the noun right next to it. So my puppy, a Maltese and Havanese mix. Okay, don't give up. Let's go on to prepositional phrase. It's a modifying phrase consisting of the preposition and its object. Preposition and its object. It may use as an adjectives or an adverbs. For example, Marga is inside the supermarket. Inside the supermarket is the prepositional phrase because of the mark of the preposition inside. Next. Zoe is the girl with yellow ponytail ribbons. The girl with yellow ponytail ribbons is obviously the prepositional phrase because of the with preposition mark. Wow, great brains you are building up. Come on. And lastly, we have the absolute phrase. Please take note of this. Absolute phrase modifies the independent clause. It's not connected by a conjunction. No conjunction. Set off with a comma and could be removed without affecting or interfering the meaning of the sentence. Example: his feet sore. He continued his hike. His feet sore is the absolute phrase because what? It modifies the independent clause, which is he continued his hike. Does it contain with conjunction? No. Set off with a comma? Yes. Could be removed without affecting or interfering the meaning of the sentence? Yes. So absolutely, his feet sore is the absolute phrase. Then the baby ate the applesauce with pleasure, cooing and gurgling as he took each spoonful. So where's the independent clause? It is the baby ate the applesauce with pleasure. Is it complete without the cooing and gurgling as she took each spoonful? And does not affect the independent clause? Yes. So, absolutely, the cooing and gurgling as she took each spoonful is the absolute phrase. The last phrase. So let's have a recap. Remember, a phrase is a group of words that do not contain a subject and a predicate together. Phrase does not have a noun or a verb. Phrases can function as nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. Okay, for more exercises, let's check our pre-test. Then we'll have post-test again. So in the first sentence, we start with my beautiful aunt, and we call this a noun phrase. Okay, let's underline this. What makes it a noun phrase is that at the core we have this noun here, which is aunt. And the next phrase here is going to be a verb phrase. And a verb phrase includes a bunch of helping verbs. So all of these together is going to be a verb phrase. After the verb phrase, we have a noun phrase. Again, we have a noun, which is sweater, with a modifier nice. We end this sentence with a prepositional phrase, which is for me. And all you need for a prepositional phrase is a preposition and an object of a preposition, which is going to be noun or pronoun, along with its modifiers. Well, let's go to our second sentence here. Finally finished straightening all my customers' hair. Erica trembled at the thought of alopecia. Here, we're going to start with participial phrase. So a participial phrase has two kinds of participles to watch out for the present participle, and they're easy to spot because they always end in ing. And then we also have past participle, and they're a specific part of the verb. Let's say, for instance, I see, I saw, I have seen. In this case, the past participle, which is finished, and we have adverb finally, that's telling about when we finished. Finished finally, right? And then we have another participial phrase. It starts with a present participle, and notice the ing ending. And then we have another. So straightening is present participle, and we can consider it as a participial phrase. After that, we get two main parts of the sentence. Erica trembled at the thought of alopecia. At the thought and of alopecia, and at the thought and of alopecia are prepositional phrases. Let's move on. Third, lifting 200 pounds, barbell makes him hungry. Underline lifting 200 pounds, barbell is gerund phrase. It can replace by an it pronoun. It makes him hungry. Fourth, to love is to hurt. Here we have two infinitive phrases. Those are to love and to hurt. And finally, Jonathan, the class genius, was absent. Underline the class genius. What is the type of phrase? Right, a positive. Why? For it follows the word that explains, describes, or identifies the noun Jonathan. Yay! So for your poses, I'm gonna give you the link for it's on a Google form. So good luck! Thank you so much for listening attentively. Keep growing on learning, for brain is like a muscle. It changes and gets. And when you stop exercising or learning, the muscles shrink and you get weaker. So do brains. Once again, this is your teacher Joanna, zooming out. So see ya!